So I'm going to start extinction today with my a little, I guess you could say it's a summary, historical summary of how I see the progress of the global economy. Okay, we went slowly for many centuries, and then what we did was last 200 years, you could say, global economic the growth, right, and the total economic output has grown balloon exponentially, uh, thanks to first manufacturing and today to, you could say, services, even though services, again, is abstraction. It's nothing. It's, I call it unemployment. Okay, so anyone who is doing services is doing unemployment. Anyways, here's my 5 cents worth on it in one little strip there, one little video. And let me turn this on. Here it goes. Okay. Economic growth evolved slowly since the start of civilization, going from agriculture to industrialization and ballooning into services. But we can't grow demographically and economically forever. The balloon is going to pop. And man is destined to fade into oblivion. No civilization of intelligent beings in the universe will ever know that we were ever here. The earth will continue to spin and the moon will continue to run around it until the sun swallows both of them. And the universe will continue on as if nothing. That's the fate that awaits us. That was the fate of all civilizations that ever evolved anywhere in the universe. Okay? So that's my 10 cents worth. Okay? This is what I think we're doing today. This is where we're at. Okay? Again, a quick summary. And it's that we have so many people today that are in the service economy. I would say about 85% in industrialized or advanced nations. And those same countries have only about 1% of agriculture, meaning both in labor and in GDP. Okay, so these numbers more or less reflect also the labor force. And what we're doing, we're scratching each other's backs. One guy sings, the other one acts, the other one does internet. And so we're doing all these services that are really unproductive in the sense they don't produce anything tangible. All we're doing with that is just, again, scratching each other's backs and passing the money around. That's all we're doing. Only when that money goes into agriculture, which is, and by agriculture I mean anything that produces food. It could be fishing, cattle ranching, whatever. The point here is all that money goes into, some of that ends up in agriculture. And thanks to that agriculture, we are alive and we can continue rolling around in circles. Okay? But what happens if, at some point, money disappears and the agriculturalists do not accept money anymore? Well, what happens then? Well, I think what happens then, the whole chain collapses. Okay, so now suddenly we don't have anyone producing or distributing food to the cities, to the people who do services, and the whole thing collapses. Now you might say, well, why would money collapse to zero? Well, I can give you my 5 cents worth again. I'm saying money will collapse to zero because it's being not only devalued every day, but if you look at the last 30, 40 decades, okay, 4 decades, I'm sorry, 40 years, right? You will find that the worker, the proletariat, the person who depends on a salary, his income has decreased in value over time. Yes, we live comfy, a lot more comfortable than the ancient Egyptian pharaohs. They didn't have a pillow, they didn't have a bathroom with a shower, they didn't have a fridge to cool their beer. So we live better, but at the same time, all we're doing is more and more people are just making it barely to the end of the month. They're living one paycheck to the next. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that money is being devalued. Right now, we're talking about inflation, meaning, again, money is losing its value. And you're worried about the United States dollar. You should see other countries that depend on the dollar. Their money is being devalued even faster than the dollar. And the question is, how long can we continue devaluing coins around the world, currencies, right? Until we get to a point where nobody accepts it? Because, what happens, it's not like, the poorest people get lower and lower on the scale. In order for them not to go out into the streets and, break windows and burn tires, the governments, what they're doing is subsidizing them, giving them money so that they reach the end of the month, barely, but reach the end of the month. So these people, you know, a lot of them don't even have jobs or have semi jobs, like selling, you know, something on the streets. And so here they are, you know, they're they're trying to survive, and the government's helping those people. And as long as those people are helped, you know, they don't go out and do bad things out there. But where's the government? Where are the governments getting their money from? And the answer is from God. And they just put the little machine to work, and they pull out the dollars or whatever money currencies they have. And that's what's happening. And I'm not sure you can continue that forever. Okay. Now, one person has a solution. Thank God we have some economists that come here and pitch their ideas. And here's one fellow. He's got a great idea. He says, we just create new money. Instead of green money, why don't we propose brown money? You know, I mean, after all, money is just money, right? It says a nation, group, or people can start printing their own new money that will kickstart the economy. Kickstart the economy because you print new money. You know how many times we printed new money to kickstart the economy? You know what founding fathers did to start the economy? They printed their own colonial script. You know what Hitler did when he wanted to start the economy but had no goal? He printed his own money. Okay, what happens when there is no money? We print them again and start the economy all over again. How hard is it to comprehend? Now, wouldn't you like to have this fellow for an economist, you know, running the country? Yeah, these people think that because you replace green money with brown money, you solve the problem. And they don't realize that, you know, I mean, just giving you an example, take some of these billionaires like Trump or, you know, Gates or whoever. You know, now they change the money. What will happen to their holdings? You know, I mean, they have all these properties and bank accounts and investments. Suddenly you change the money, that they lose everything. Or you know, or the government itself, you know, it's got debts. Suddenly all those debts get wiped out because they're not in green money. Now you've switched over to brown money, so you don't owe the creditors a penny. You know, I mean, and let me give you another example. You know, I mean, why don't the governments of the world, every government, just give every person on the planet $1 million? Now that would solve a lot of people's problems, right? Give everybody $1 million. Man, that would solve everybody's problem. Why don't we do it? I mean, if money is just money and money is just money, you know, we change green money with brown money. Let's give everybody money. That solves the problem, apparently, right? Think about it. Anyways, here are people who have a better head on their heads and on their shoulders. And this is what they say about what's coming in the coming months, right? In the next few months. Here it is. Here's Jeff Bezos. He says the economy does not look good right now. Things are slowing down. You're seeing layoffs in many, many sectors of the economy. And that means you might want to tighten up your budget. And it says if you're an individual considering purchasing, blah, 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 you may want to wait a while, okay? And so he suggests that you wait because things are not looking good. And I guess he should know he's, you know, up there with the elite, right? He's probably, as many would think, part of the New World Order, right? The Illuminati, whatever, you know. So, I mean, he's telling you, you know, grab a hold of your money. In other words, don't spend right now. Not a good time to spend, okay? Because bad things are coming. And here's another source on investment outfit, you know. Investopedia, 4 ways to hedge against the next recession. Meaning, you know, when they talk about recession, if it's not almost coming, it's imminent, right? There's a growing belief among economists that 2023 could be the year that the U.S. spins into full-blown recession. And they add, recessions don't last forever. Yeah, they could be followed by depressions. And as I see it, that is usually, or the next depression will be followed by extinction. Okay, so they don't last forever. These people suggest that we're going back to normal in the future. And, you know, you may want to think about that. Are we coming back to normal after the next recession, especially with this war going on, you know, in Ukraine? And there is a, we've got a little article here. Where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah. It says the EU, European Union, postpones talks on oil price cap as divisions stick. There are differences between the different countries in Europe. They don't know whether to put it a money cap, you know, a dollar cap on oil coming from Russia. And the reason they didn't reach an agreement, they think that maybe if they do, or some of these countries think that if they do put a cap, it could damage the global economy. So we got that on top of, you know, the fact that we already have or are moving into a recession. Okay, so we may be counting our chickens at this point, so to speak, right? Here's another fellow. He's a little more drastic. He says, top economist L. Arian says we're not just headed for another recession, but a profound economic and financial shift. And these are all experts. I mean, you can call them experts. They're up there. You might say, well, they're no experts, that you know better. Okay, fine. But these are the people who other people listen to. And so if these people are doomsayers, then maybe you might want to listen to them. It says a recession occurs when a business cycle reaches its natural endpoint and before the next cycle really takes flight. But he said, this fellow Arian, the next cycle said this time won't be one more turn of the economic wheel, as he sees the world experiencing major changes that will outlast the current business cycle. Is the recession going to be followed by a depression? That's the question for you. Maybe it gets worse and not better. Okay? Not that I'm saying it will, but if I had to bet, I'd bet on that side, not on the side that we're going to recover, especially with this war going on over there. I think that's just going to make matters worse. And here we have another fellow that says, I believe the economy is the biggest bubble in world history, says Rich Dad, Poor Dad's Robert Kiyosaki. God have mercy on us all. Please don't listen to what I'm going to say next. I would get out of paper assets. In other words, money, like bills, currency, okay? The world economy is not a market. I believe the economy is the biggest bubble in world history. God have mercy on us all. And I more or less see it the same way. I think we're headed not only to a recession, but probably to a depression. And I'm not sure if we're going to come out of that. So keep in mind what this site says. We're due for extinction. It's going to be caused by the collapse of the global economy. These people are saying we're going to have a global problem, economic problem. And so maybe you should start sleeping with one eye open, okay? One fellow has a solution. He says, we got it. We don't stop increasing population or find some new energy, right? Power source, right? The earth will no longer be able to sustain humans. Okay, he thinks it's a question of, the fact that we have too much population. It just continues to increase. We've got to stop it. Actually, population is already dwindling. I guess he's not aware of that. In other words, our growth rate is falling. And it's falling for several reasons, among them that we've moved to the cities. And what happens then is density-dependent birth rates take over. That's the mode in which we're producing the new generations, the new people, the new children. Okay? And so we're already, he doesn't have to worry about stopping increase in population. It's already happening. Okay? In fact, it's one of the big problems on the one hand, because if you don't produce population, you don't produce demand. If you don't produce demand, corporations have to shut their doors. And if they shut their doors, there's more unemployment and the cycle continues. Because then people don't earn money, so they postpone or don't have children at all. And again, the cycle's just a wheel there. Okay? We're not going to populate the planet, so don't worry. In fact, countries like Japan and Russia are already on a decline. They don't even know how to get people in there because they don't have any immigration. And Europe, all of Europe, Western Europe and United States, Australia, Canada, all these countries, they would be in negative population growth just like everybody else if it weren't for immigration. Okay? It's immigration that's fueling the population growth and the economic growth in a lot of these advanced nations. Without that, their economy would be suffering, let alone their population numbers. But after he says a lot of stuff, he says, unlikely we go extinct. So we have all these problems, but we won't go extinct. But he doesn't say why we're going to avoid extinction, because he probably doesn't know how extinction happens. Okay, and that's why, I say always, we got to do 101, Extinction 101 before Extinction 102. So some people think that going back to hunter-gatherers will solve the problem. It will only make it worse. Why? Because for a few thousand people to cook, stay warm, they would need a lot of trees every day to sustain themselves. So he thinks this is a question of, defoliaging the environment, cutting the trees down. This is the way these people think. No, it's got nothing to do with that. Let me tell you what's going to happen if, we go to hunter-gathering. First of all, there's nothing to hunt or gather out there. Okay? I mean, do you see wildebeest running on the highway that you can hunt with your bow and arrow or your gun or whatever, your knife, spear? No, there's nothing to hunt. So you would have to go to the forest and compete, with the bears and wolves, maybe for deer, and maybe hunt them as well, But then at some point, we're 8 billion people. And there are not enough wolves, bears, deer, whatever, to keep us afloat. So forget about hunting. Anyone who's thinking of hunting, should think twice. In fact, I've got a little summary here. Survivalist without a cause is just a caveman. Survivalists are people who plan to hunt after whatever comes our way comes our way. And a prepper is a gardener. He's without a cause. He's just a gardener. He's a person who thinks he's gonna plow the land after everyone's gone. And he's gonna live, I guess, forever. Reproduce with genes that are already wiped out. And with whom? These guys are probably hermits. The only way you're going to survive if you're in a big family group, people who have, a lot of confidence in each other. But if you're a hermit, you're just going to live out your life, and it's the same thing as if you went extinct. You just go extinct a little later than everybody else. That's all. But the big problem is, when the shit hits the fan, this is going to be the problem. The problem is going to be defense. You're going to be a farmer by day and a soldier by night. You're going to have to defend whatever you plow out there. And good luck with that one. You got all these people from the cities coming to share in your bounty. You're going to be shooting a lot of people. I don't think they'll understand, when their stomachs are completely empty. I don't think they'll understand, that you can say, let me teach you how to plant. There's no time for that. It's easier to steal, believe me. We did it in the past. We're going to do it in the future. Okay? So everybody's on their own when the caca hits the fan. Okay, here's a couple people who think that humans are different than animals. This fellow says, your analysis misses the qualitative difference between humans and animals. We're not animals, okay? We're humans. Please don't call me an animal. Humans are going extinct in a uniquely human fashion. Well, I don't know what he meant by that. He didn't put down how he plans to have us go extinct. And again, I don't think he has the slightest clue, okay? Another fellow along the same lines, he says, over the millennia and in the billions of humans who lived and died, humanity by its nature organized itself and went from hunting to feed itself to manufacturing synthetic meat in the laboratory to feed itself. While the whale, the shark, etc., always do the same things. Okay, again, it looks like he's saying that we're not like those animals. We're different. We evolved. We invented things. We moved around. We changed things. And the animals always do the same thing. The cow always eats grass every day and doesn't complain. You eat grass every day. See if you complain. Man, on the other hand, by his nature, does always different things, which show its evolution over the millennia. Okay, I don't think this fellow knows. That there's the cat world. I'll just give one example, and that's the cat world. Okay, and you have these cats. You have these solitary cats like the jaguar, the tiger, the puma, right? Mountain lion, and then you have the lions, and the lions are the only ones that have prides. They have families. They live in a group, and all these animals descended from the same cat sometime a long time ago. Okay. So they say about 6 million years ago. And I thought this fellow says that animals don't evolve. Well, apparently the lions invented something different than all the other cats. They became social animals. So to say that animals do everything the same way for always, I mean, the beavers always make little houses in the river. Maybe you can go back in time, there was a development, an evolution of the beaver, and they, suddenly they started building houses, or slowly they figured it out. So to say that man is the only animal that evolved and changed and etc., think again. Look for examples before you open your mouth. Okay, here's another fellow. He says it's global warming that's going to kill us. The exponential function of global warming will be the end of us. We have a guy McPherson there, fearsome guy. And he's a chicken little. He thinks it's going to be global warming that's going to kill us. And you have Al Gore and Greta Thunberg, and they go around preaching the gospel of climate change. Climate change never killed a single species on Earth. Climate change does not kill species. But, it'd be nice if these people would tell us what the mechanism is. How does climate change get rid of us? How does it wipe humanity out? Okay, that's what I need to understand. And all these people talk about climate change, whether it occurs or not is irrelevant. We'll concede that it's happening. Okay, no problem. The question is, if it's happening, please tell me how that ends in the extinction of humanity. Okay, that's what you got to explain. That mechanism, please work on that. Okay, don't just say climate change is going to kill us and we're done. Nah, not by a long shot. In fact, it's never happened. Climate change never did anything to anybody. Well, I'll take that back. Climate change only serves to favor whoever comes next. Okay, so whenever the dinosaurs disappeared, the tiny mammals that were waiting in the wings and expanded with the angiosperms, with the flowering plants, they radiated, and I think climate helped some species evolve faster than other species. In other words, if it was warm, maybe it helped these animals. If it was cold, it helped those other animals and those other plants. That, in essence, yeah, I think climate plays a function, a role, an important role, only in radiation post mass extinction. But it doesn't cause the extinction of species or of whole mass extinction. It doesn't cause that. Okay, so here's another fellow. He says, human instrumentality project is basically real. The elites know we're goners. And I didn't know what that human instrumentality project was, so I had to look it up, and it's got to do with anime. These people get their their education, in Hollywood, okay, Hollywood University. And so they look at these things, they get these ideas, about a futuristic world. And anime is, since it's made by Japanese, it's very gloomy, okay, gloomy doomy. Okay, that's why, in general, my notion of the Japanese, lots of suicides over there. So it's a country that's reached its maximum development, and I'm not sure what you can expect from them in the future. Okay, so yeah, some kind of instrumentality project, not important at all as far as I'm concerned. Okay, just people who think that in this world where they're in the streets and everything's dark, and here you have the couple that's trying to survive in this new world, etc. So it's a lot of novel. It's a novel, but very little on science, very little on analysis, and always, no matter which one of these movies or cartoons that you see or watch, what you will never see is anyone addressing food. You have like Waterworld. It's like, where does the food come from? And you see all these movies, these extinction movies, and they never talk about food. It's like, it's some disease or some agent, and it never ends in extinction, by the way. There's always a baby at the end to give humanity hope. Okay, so here we have, I made a comment the other day that measures to prolong time to extinction. And I said, no more babies, we have to found new cities and shift labor to agriculture. And again, I don't think this is ever going to happen. I'm saying that it would be nice in an ideal world where everybody on Earth, realize that we're due for extinction. We say, okay, we're intelligent. How can we fix this problem? How can we prolong our lives so that extinction doesn't hit us so quickly? And these are the suggestions I'm saying that, people would have to zero in on in order to extend their lives. For humanity as a whole, right? And that's if we all cooperated, if we all loved each other, if all the governments, had no politicians, no lawyers, no, if we were all, Buddhists or whatever, Hindus, and embraced each other, well, this is maybe what we should do, and this is the only thing I can think of that could prolong our lives. But a couple of people say, why would you want to do that, prolong our life? Another fellow says, why would we want to? People stink. Convid taught us that. Okay, I guess he misspelled COVID, right? Okay, so here's another fellow along the same lines. He says, so you're saying a Maoist land reform could work? Laugh out loud. Why not babies, though? I don't quite understand that. Are you saying humanity should reproduce slower to make the genetic diversity last longer, or just letting it be the last generation? No, I'm saying that, if you look at the map, it's terrible. We're concentrated in cities. If you look at the world, it's mostly urbanized and becoming more and more urbanized. That means we're expanding the existing centers. And I'm saying there's a lot of free land out there. It'd be nice if by some miracle, God's miracle type thing, that we could induce people to leave the cities, go to the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert, right? In the middle of the forest, jungle, wherever, and found new cities. So they create this new cities, right? With whatever they've got there. If they do primarily agriculture, they're creating real stuff, right? And hopefully they can become self-sustaining. even export, whatever. But the idea is to create more cities. But then at the same time, I think we should stop procreating, because the more we procreate and the more we stay in the cities, that's bad. We should go out into the country, and the existing people should go there. And stop procreating only because, we realize under this context, okay, the context is important here. We realize that we're the last humans on Earth. Why are we going to produce more and more children? Okay, the idea would be to limit now the number of children that we have in the world, so that whoever is young today just grows old. Okay, and we all try to live together, kiss each other, be friends and family, etc. Of course, I'm talking about a world that doesn't exist. I don't even think it exists in heaven. Okay, but I mean, this is what I'm suggesting. That's my solution, my 10 cents worth. Of course, it's not going to happen. But I'd say that would be an ideal world where we say, what could be a solution? Solution would be to found new cities in the middle of nowhere and do it with the existing people. That's my point. Okay. Okay, and so I always recommend that we do Extinction 101 before you do Extinction 102. Everybody wants to do human extinction. Everybody's an expert in human extinction, of why man won't die or why he will die, and he will die in gazillions of years in the future, so we don't have to worry about it. No, please do Extinction 101. Find out how extinction occurred in the past, in the days of the dinosaurs, in the days of the Triassic archosaurs, in the days of the Permian mammal-like reptiles. Once you figure that out, you can tell me exactly how all those animals disappeared. Then we can talk about human extinction, okay? So that we can extrapolate whatever you found in those days to humans and see if we can overcome whatever they couldn't.